All things first thought or taught of us as ancient Egyptian Hebrew Israelites is not true or accurate. For we never wrote a book and handed it down to man and said, "This is from the Elohims of Upper Egypt." Instead, we were instructed by the archangel Al-Rasul Caprias within the indigenous spirit of man, which developed our ability to teach all of mankind as ancient Egyptian Hebrew Israelites in the faith of astronomy as scholars. Yet in time, the students became the teachers, and the teachers became the students, and the faith of the Israelites became distorted, and newfound religion set in based on the teachings of the Assyrian Hebrew Israelites from the land of Canaan. As in the beginning was only but one faith, known to the ancient Egyptian Hebrew Israelites known as Amun Ra within the faith of Aten. Yet in time, disobedience came into the world with the birth of Isis and Osiris, and the world's population grew, and the natural development of the Assyrian Hebrew Israelites took place alongside the development of the Etruscan Roman faith of the Canaanites. And so there was no such thing as being atheistic or Jewish back then. Either you were one or two. And so the faith of the pagan Arabs as Muslims is not desirable to us as Israelites because we were never meant to be pagan Arabs. This is why their book isn't sufficient within our teachings of our deen, because Islam was solely the faith of Amun Ra before disobedience ever existed. And so all the world's religions today are based on disobedience. And for this, Muslims are not the true representation of Islam. Yet we are all of the same spirit, and so there are no such thing as jinns. Al-Rasul Caprias is Aten, and all the Elohims are of He. This is where we first began to dispute with the Assyrian Hebrew Israelites in which order they worshiped the ancient Egyptian Hebrew god Nu, or Blah. And for this, there were many wars and ongoing disputes which led for the Assyrian Hebrew Israelites to move northeast of Egypt and south towards Istanbul. And for this, their hearts became hardened, and they would attack Egypt from Istanbul and northeast Africa. And these were the two faiths before men ever carved our faith into stone. Yet after the crucifixion and resurrection of Yeshua came forth the first book of the Assyrian pagan Arabs, in which they entitled El Quran. Yet we were never meant to be pagan Arabs. That's why the nature of the book is all wrong. And so when the Prophet Muhammad used to stone, he used to stone because Israelites were sleeping with Canaanites. And so there is no honor as Israelites within the faith of religions of Canaanites, because they are all based on indecencies, as there was only to be one faith, one God, and one people. As we know Yeshua to be King Akhenaten within our deen, we know it to be true as well that the Queen of Egypt was responsible for the assassination of the Assyrian Hebrew Israelite Emperor Julius Caesar after the resurrection of Yeshua's immortal soul on the third day as prophesied. From here we know that Egypt and Queen Nefertiti took the Assyrian Etruscans and Rome to war on behalf of the archangel as the father and son within the oneness as Yeshua. And many of Caesar's immediate family were murdered and killed by the queen, as was Caesar himself, which led to the establishment of the faith of the Muslims later to come after the war for Kabul and the Prophet Muhammad, but was first established by the son of Julius Caesar, Gaius Caligula, who after his defeat on the battlefield to Queen Nefertiti thought it better to pick up the faith of our stones than battle weaponry, and began to worship in the faith of Amun Ra in honor of the gods of our cosmos as ancient Assyrian Hebrew Israelites. And for this, Islam was first established amongst the Etruscans and Assyrian Hebrew Israelites. Yet Gaius Caligula was known to be a deserter and a converter of Islam. And just 4 years after obtaining the throne, shortly after the death of our own Queen Nefertiti, who we then buried as King Tutankhamun, he was ambushed and killed by his own cabinet as a deserter, a defector, and a coward within the Assyrian Etruscan Roman government of Rome. From here, the stories of he and Yahshua become conflicted among the Israelites and Assyrians, and Yahshua's faith within the Israelites became construed within the faith of the Canaanites as their own. Yet the Canaanites never believed in our deen, and that's what it was to throw stones. As for the Bible, we knew from the beginning that this book was not of accuracy because it was written on the commission of King James of England by Assyrian Egyptian Hebrews who never grasped the true teachings within accuracy of the ancient Egyptian Hebrew Israelites, and was used as a method of deception of itself as well as all other books. Still in all, El Quran was shown to be knowledgeable of the ancient Egyptian Hebrew Israelites' faith, and this made King James want to commission all Assyrian Hebrew Israelites to study and interpret the stones of the ancient Egyptian Hebrew Israelites, which was what funded the Muslim religion around the world as we know it today.